While the war taught men how to destroy, old Thomas Gray learned how to plant. Every morning before the city woke to sirens or gunfire, Thomas walked beyond the broken factories to a stretch of land the bombs had forgotten. He carried a small shovel, a cloth sack of seeds, and the memory of a world that once smelled of rain instead of smoke. Before the war, Thomas had been a gardener at the public park. He knew trees the way others knew faces. When the park was burned and the benches turned to ash, people told him there was no point in saving what would only be destroyed again. Thomas planted anyway. Children from the shelters watched him from a distance. They thought he was strange, an old man burying hope in soil that shook from explosions. Soldiers laughed at him. One even asked, "Who do you expect to enjoy those trees?" Thomas smiled, "Someone who survives." One afternoon, a young woman named Ruth began bringing him water. She had lost her husband at the front and her home to fire. Watching Thomas work gave her something the war had stolen: routine. "Why trees?" she asked one day. "Because they grow slowly," he replied. "They don't panic." Winter came early that year. Snow covered the city like a blanket, trying to hide the wounds. Thomas wrapped the saplings in cloth and prayed quietly over each one. The ground was hard, but life waited patiently beneath it. Then the bombing found the field. A single explosion tore through the edge of Thomas's grove. Smoke rose, dirt fell back to earth. When the noise ended, Ruth ran to the field, afraid of what she would find. Thomas was alive. So were most of the trees. "They missed the roots," he said simply. Months later, the war ended without ceremony. No parades came to the ruined city, only silence, cautious and unfamiliar. Spring followed. Small green leaves appeared where gray soil had ruled. People came from all corners to see them. Children touched the branches as if greeting old friends. Birds returned, confused but grateful. Thomas did not live to see summer. He passed quietly in his sleep, his hands still stained with earth. Years later, the trees stood tall. Their shade covered laughter, picnics, first kisses, and promises made without fear. And though the war had left scars on the world, the roots Thomas planted proved stronger than fire.